to Equal Performance League. As you can see today, we are in a very wet Silverstone, and commentating for you today are myself, Daniele, and my co-commentator, Chris. So, Chris, as we can clearly see tonight, we have a very treacherous conditions here in a full wet qualifying session. What do you think about the circuit? Of course, Silverstone, one of the most classic circuits. The British Grand Prix has hosted every single race from 1950. It's one of the classics. What are your experiences around here, and what do you think about the track? Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, with F1 2017, we don't really know the forecast for the race, but for the qualifying, at the moment, it's full wet conditions, and I don't think it's going to change in the rest of this qualifying session. Of course, a bit more than 9 minutes remaining. And yeah, as for the championship, of course, today will be a very important round for both drivers and constructors championships. Of course, in the former, we have Meg that is right now in P1 in the championship. Of course, in his McLaren, he's about to start his qualifying lap now, and he has 26 points, just 4 points more than M. Doran, his closest rival in the drivers' championship in his Sauber. He's going to start his qualifying lap time right now. And in third place, just 11 points behind, we have Nick, who today is, as always, running in his Mercedes. He's also starting his qualifying lap now, as pretty much everybody. And yeah, from Nick, below Nick, we have a lot of drivers very close to one another. Of course, the new point system in the Invictus Formula 2 Equal Performance League gives 12 points to the winner, then 10 points for second place, 8 points for third place, and then a point less for every single other finisher in the top 10. As for the constructors, we have a tie right now in first place, with Renault and McLaren sharing the top spot with 30 points each. And then third and fourth place are tied with 24 points, and that is Sauber and Haas. Yeah, that's totally true. I mean, this is Silverstone, of course. One of, in fact, England is actually a lot of teams have their base here in England, and a lot of drivers. Yeah, exactly. And also a couple of teams like Red Bull, for example, this year have tested here. For the moment, actually, top spot is now for M. Doran, who clocks in at 143.1, just less than 3 tenths faster than Hulkenberger in his Renault in P2, and then Humberstone in P3, just a few thousands ahead of Nick in 4th place. It's a very close qualifying. Of course, I think it's I think it's going to be crucial to have consistency around here, especially in qualifying where, you know, the conditions may vary from minute to minute, and then of course you have to put in a perfect lap, and in full wet conditions it's not going to be very easy. Now Jos in P2 with a time that permits him to be just less than a tenth faster than Hülkenberg, and is now in P2 between him and Doran, who still is top, who still is at the top in this qualifying session. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true, and we have a couple of more times on the board, and at the moment Tactics is now in P2, just 61 thousandths behind Endoran, and just 4 thousandths ahead of Delange with his Red Bull. Of course, the Red Bull teammates, Tactics and Delange, are now in P2 and P3, just less than a tenth covering the top three guys. And yeah, as I said, it's going to be a very close qualifying session, and as you rightly said right now, it's going to be very difficult, especially in the race, if conditions are like this, because, you know, with heavy fuel and of course the whole race ahead of you, it's going to be very hard, especially at the start and in a couple of crucial corners, like for example turn 4 and turn 5, you know, the new section of the circuit, a fairly new section. Of course, it's a couple of years right now that we're racing with this new layout, and yeah, traction is very important. It's crucial here, and as always in Formula 1, and with wet weather conditions, it's going to be very, very difficult to maintain a good level of traction. And now Hülkenberg in P number 1 with his Renault in 1 minute 43 seconds and 1.1. It's a very good lap, and it's only 35 thousandths faster than Andorran, and now in one tenth we have the top 4. What a qualifying session right now, just a little bit more than 3 minutes remaining. Nah, not yet. Yeah, it's going for another hot lap, and of course he's in P1 right now, and I don't think he has the time to go back into the pit lane and then go out again. So I think this lap will be his final one of his qualifying session. So we're riding on board with him right now, and let's see if he manages to improve his 1 minute 43.138. He goes now around the final corner and is able to, just for 15 thousandths he improves, and he goes with a 1 minute 43.123. He goes and stays on top, and now that's the time to beat. Oh, and Craig, I think, is out of the session. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's going to be the same for Reflows in last place without a time. And Hulkenberger, I think, is down again by 2/10. Up, sorry, by 2/10, and he's going for another fast lap. And as well as Andorran, I think, who's now, well, actually, he's now, yeah, he's starting now in his lap. And of course, all the other drivers, apart from Delange, who is in the pits as well. So his qualifying session is over. But for the others, in this last minute and 10 seconds, it's going to be very, very difficult to predict now the poleman, as everybody's starting to improve. Maybe even the track is starting to improve a little bit. So maybe times are going to fall down. Yeah. Yeah, and now coming through Maggots, Beckett and Chapel, if you ask me, the best section of the circuit. He's doing quite an okay lap. I mean, now Schofielder retires from the session, and Duran. Yeah, very close, just half a tenth between the two of them. Now Doran coming towards the club section, now Vale, and now Club to finish his lap. Now let's see if he manages to improve and beat Hulkenberger, 142, 42, 836. And perfect, yeah. Yeah, now the qualifying session is over. Of course, drivers have the time to finish their lap, as Jost right now. He manages to improve and put himself in provisional P2. And now we have to follow tactics because he's one of the last drivers who's going to finish his lap just around sector 1 right now. Yeah, and now yeah, that could be something. And right now also Jamie and Meg are trying to improve on their lap. They're one after the other now in Maggots and Beckett's. Maybe Meg is going to have some dirty air from the car ahead. I'm not too sure. Probably he's a bit too far away though. So maybe it's best for him. Now coming through the Hangar Straight, one of the, well, actually the fastest point of the circuit. Now towards Stowe they go. Jamie and Meg following one another, and now coming towards the final section on the circuit. Let's see if they can improve. The Renault driver now coming to the chicane. Yeah, he looks a bit uncomfortable right now. And Jamie manages to improve, just 33 thousandths away from Doran's time, and Meg doesn't improve. But Tactics manages to improve and snatches pole position for the British Grand Prix in his Red Bull, and that's the last time we're going to see in this qualifying session. Why does he say P2? Let's see if that's... Yeah, Doran beat him, but yeah, probably... yeah, that... Exactly, I mean... Yeah, it was very close in the end, but the Irish driver, Doran, with his Sauber, manages to snatch pole position ahead of KW Tactics, Jamie, Humblestone, Jos, Hulkenberger, Delange, Nick, Schofielder, and Meg, the championship leader, down to P10. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just 4 points behind Meg, starting P1, and the McLaren driver starting P10. And let's see right now the conditions. Well, we have a nice sunny day. Luckily for the drivers, because this circuit in the full wet conditions in race stream is very difficult. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. Chris, guarda un attimo WhatsApp. So we are ready to start our race. 4, now 5 red lights for the British Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go. And Doran does a great start. The Force India down there starts really badly, and Doran still manages to keep his P1 with Tactics in P2 and Jamie in P3, now coming towards turn 3. And yeah, the Sauber driver manages to keep his P1 for now, with Tactics in P2, Jamie in P3. Right behind Humblestone and Hulkenberger are fighting, and the Renault driver, we get together with the Williams now, a bit of contact as well with the Red Bull, and also the Force India driver Jos up the inside with super soft tires. I mean, we can see a lot of different drivers with lots of different tires, and now we can see that Hulkenberger on soft tires has managed to keep his position, but Jos with super soft tires with the better traction and manages to keep his place. Let's see towards Kops, and yeah, Hulkenberger has to give the place to Jos with the better traction of the corners.
There is Jamie that is following Tactics, and Tactics with the soft, but I mean, soft are really nice around Silverstone. The one pit stop strategy usually goes for Jamie just passed KW, by the way.
Yeah, they are side by side.
Yeah,
and the Renault driver has managed to overtake the Red Bull driver, and Jamie is now up into P2. A great move round the outside of Stowe, a very difficult move to make, and Doran up ahead is steaming away with 2 seconds.
I was saying that Jamie could be really losing a lot of time around behind KW, because KW could just become the best friends of Doran, making the other guys following him a little slower. But right now Jamie could just go and catch Doran. It's really important because actually Renault is doing really good for the Constructor Championship around there.
Yeah, and I mean, with Doran up ahead with his Sauber, he's of course in 3rd place in the Constructors Championship, whereas Renault is fighting with McLaren for top spot. So Jamie of course is putting Renault where it should belong, also in real life I think, with Jamie now in P2. And yeah, do you think that this different tire strategy, as we see now Tactics is struggling a little bit in P3 with his soft tires, do you think he's going to get an advantage in the second part of the race with probably less wear medium tires?
I don't really think so, because usually the tires around Silverstone are not really.
Oh, sorry, but there's contact behind with Humblestone and Tactics. Sorry to interrupt you, but
it's okay.
The Red Bull driver came together with the Williams driver, and Humblestone is the one who came worst out of it, and he spun into Stowe. He was round the outside. He tried a move round the outside of Humblestone, and unfortunately for him, he spun. Whereas now Humblestone is down into P12, of course, and Renault, the Force India driver of Tactics of Jos, is now into P4. That was a very, very confusional incident right there. And yeah, right now things are starting to be a little bit more comfortable for the 2 drivers ahead, with of course Doran leading the race with his Sauber 2 seconds ahead of Jamie. They look like they are lapping the same times right now. 2 seconds, 1.9 seconds. The gap pretty much stays the same.
And I was saying that around Silverstone, the wear of the tires is not really a lot. I mean, you can go to the first lap to the end with the medium tires. So I don't think to put the soft tires is the best solution. The thing is that if KW could follow Jamie, maybe with the slipstream, KW could really go to the end to change to the super soft tires and make the last 8-7 laps with a qualifying pace.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's going to be very tough for him. And by the way, right now Jamie with the fastest lap of the race, he's trying to catch Doran. Not really an easy task. I mean, he's 1.7 behind, so he's catching about catching him about two tenths a lap. But yeah, as you were saying before, I mean, Tactics is going to have to stretch these soft tires a long way to fit the super softs at the end of the race, whereas guys like Jos and Jamie up ahead as well, together with M. Doran, they're going to stop pretty early. I mean, it's a 26 lap race.
Yeah, and we have also to consider that the undercut around here is really, really strong.
Yeah, very powerful.
If you stop around lap 7 or around lap 8, you can gain a lot.
Yeah,
and by the way, Hülkenberg is really close to Jos that can't make that super soft tires work.
Yeah,
it's really, really difficult.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Force India driver Jos right now seems to be very aggressive on the curbs and also in the racing line, trying to find a way past Tactics in P3 as well. So it's a very close bunch of drivers right now. Of course, Tactics, as you said before, holding them up a little bit, especially Jos with the super soft tires. He really needs to get past Tactics and start to put down a bit of a better pace, because these super soft tires are not going to last very long.
Yeah, we also have to consider that. Look at the difference between KAW and Jamie. The first two are really going away from the others, and now we are going to see a train behind the KW with Joes and Hülkenberg that goes really aggressive in turn 3.
Yeah, I mean, Hülkenberg has to try and catch Jos and KW, and at the same time he has to defend from championship leader Meg, who is now up into P6. A good start by the McLaren driver. He's now sitting... Oh, and right now... Oh, Reflows is out of the race. I think
he probably lost the car. And
yeah, he lost the car and is out. Shame for the Toro Rosso driver. But as we said before, yeah, Hülkenberg has a bit of a difficult job right now on his hands. He needs to try and not fall back too much from Jos and KW, and at the same time he has to defend from the championship leader, who is now going very wide into Cops, and now he really needs to make some inroads, because his championship rival, M. Doran, is in P1.
The one that is doing a really good job is Nick with the Mercedes with the medium tires.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, right now he's under attack from Tony. Let's see if the Haas driver is able to make the move stick. He is, even though the Mercedes tries a kind of a switchback. Now he's round the outside towards the stadium section, and it's going to be very difficult from here. Yeah, he's trying to desperately to get the position back, but the grip on his medium tires is not going to allow him. Let's see though if he gets a good round up into P1, up to turn 1, whereas...
it was too much closer, he couldn't follow like he wanted behind Tony.
Yeah, he just got a big wash of dirty air.
I was saying that, as I said before, the medium tires can last to the end, but I mean, they are really, they time their pace is really the same every lap, but you really lose a lot of time behind the soft or also the super soft, especially at the start of the race when you have lots of fuel. The super soft with the fuel will have really a flying pace indifferently behind the medium and soft.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, right now, up ahead, speaking of different tire selection, KW Tactics is not really giving Jos any chance, even though right now the Force India driver is quite close. Let's see if he can line up a move. Maybe down the inside, brakes a little bit early actually, Jos, and KW brakes a lot later than the Force India driver. And yeah, he will be probably able, very late, and he broke his front wing, Jos. Probably lost his braking point, and yeah, Jos right now with the right hand side of this front wing damaged, and it's now going to be very tough for him to follow KW.
From the 3rd to the 8th, they are all behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a big train.
Everyone can hope to reach the 3rd position, but I think that the first two are out of in another planet for the others.
Yeah, I mean, 8 seconds in 6.5 laps, it's a lot. It's a lot, even though, of course, the tire advantage is helping them. But, I mean, they're probably going to do a one-stop anyway, so not really that important. And I don't think they're going to lose that much time in the second stint.
And yes, and Jenny was gaining before, but now he's lost a bit.
Yeah, he's 2.2 seconds behind, and whereas right now the real battle is behind with Hülkenberg and Jos. Of course, Jos with his broken front wing is going to be a bit hampered in this second section of the track. Of course, he loses a lot of downforce, and now the Renault driver with soft tires is really coming back at him. Let's see if he can line up a move towards Stowe. He pulls to the inside, he brakes later, then the Force India driver makes the move stick. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He goes into P4, and now Jos goes into the pits to probably change his front wing.
That's the right decision. He was losing too much time. I was saying that Jos couldn't make that super soft tires work, but probably was KW that had lots of downforce and couldn't leave the place to Jos, because Jos was maybe he had less downforce probably for the rain setup, and we saw that from Hülkenberg. Yeah, I mean, he for sure had less traction with the front wing broken, but he lost too much time on the straight.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. By the way, soft tires for Jos, do you think it's going to go till the end with soft tires, 16 laps?
Yeah, I mean, you could stop at the 7. We are at the 8th lap, so we could go comfortably to the end.
Yeah, I think that's.
I mean, you
true.
have to see also your driving style, because there are drivers that can make tires last a lot more than the other, but usually at the 8th lap of the race you can go without problems to the end with the soft.
Yeah, that's true. Right now, the interesting thing is that, of course, beforehand, we had Jos between KW Tactics and Hülkenberg, so we didn't really have a comparison between the two drivers with soft tires. Right now, Hülkenberg, the first lap he has of clean air, he basically gained a whole second on KW, so the Renault driver, as well as Meg in P5 and Tony in P6, are doing a great job on softs. But as you said before, somebody who's really doing a great job is Nick in P7 with medium tires. He's doing a very good job right now, and of course he's going to put on a set of super softs for the end of the race, no doubt about that, I think, and he's going to have quite the advantage in the second half of the race.
Yeah, you can see that everyone with the DRS can make pass the other, and as I said, the KW Tactics, it's really a low downforce setup, because people can make pass him with even with the DRS.
Yeah, that's really true. I mean, as you said beforehand, of course, before the race started, lots of drivers may have decided to go for a different setup, of course, for wet qualifying and dry race. We also have to see that. I mean, setup could play a huge part in this.
The first two are going to the box.
Yeah, that's probably the right time on lap 9. Let's see Doran and Jamie what they're going to put on. I think,
I think Jamie, if I was him,
he could risk
I would probably stop. Both of them will probably put the soft, and I would probably risk to box a lap earlier than 10, because I mean you have to try the overcut. I see medium tires.
Yeah, medium for Doran and soft for Jamie.
Soft.
Yeah, so.
And now probably Jamie will have to catch him.
Yeah, I mean, he's right behind him. He's going to be probably 2 seconds behind, 2.3, 2.5 seconds behind Doran. He has the tires to try and catch them, and to catch Doran, and let's see, because right now they are in clean air. Of course, the next car up ahead for Doran is Scope Fielder in P8, 10 seconds ahead of him. So they have clean air, and let's see if Jamie can catch Doran. This could be quite an interesting race right now, because I don't know whether Doran has made the right decision actually to put the mediums on.
Yeah, I think, as I said, soft can make to the end, even if you pit at lap 7, you will go around with 78-76% of tire wear, so lap 10 is really, really late for a pit stop. I mean, they had all the time, because behind them there was really no one, but the medium tires right now, I don't really think that's the best strategy for Endoran. But be careful, because Jamie has 2 corner cut warnings.
Yeah, that could be
Which
something.
Endoran doesn't.
I mean, right now the
Endoran's
only
king.
driver with penalties, I think it's Meg, with 3 seconds, 3 seconds time penalty for corner cutting, I think. And right now he's in P3. And by the way, the top 5 are covered by less than 3 seconds. Tactics
Also
doesn't
KW
really look that
as
fast.
tactics as a penalty, 3 seconds
Oh.
penalty for corner cut.
That could be interesting. I mean, he's in provisional P1 right now, and they're fighting for the final step on the podium for P3. And it could be some very hard racing here, because we have KW, of course, the leader right now for P3. Then Hulkenberger, who seems very fast, as Meg, of course, the championship leader right now in provisional P3. What it would be, I assume, P5 after they make their pit stops.
Let's see when they will pit, because yes, as I said at the start of the race, you can make 7-8 lap with the super soft and go to box. That's usually the best strategy. But at the end of the race, you get to put super soft at the end. You can also put them at 16, at lap 16. So you could make easily 10 laps without problems.
Yeah.
I mean, they did it and at the start, so why not at the end?
Yeah, of course, at the end of the race, lighter car, a lot of grip on the track, more grip, of course, than at the start of the race, so tires would probably, and assumingly so, last a little bit longer, as you rightly said right now. And yeah, at the moment, KW Tactics still in P1, provisional P1, of course, with his Red Bull, and right now Jamie with the fastest lap of the race, and he is 1.4 seconds behind Doran.
Yeah.
Has gained a whole second in the last 2 laps. So if they start to fight, I don't know, because Jamie could wear his soft tires a bit too much, and Doran has to defend, because with a slower compound of tires, I mean 14 laps, it's a long way ahead for him. I mean, 14 laps defending on Jamie, it's going to be very hard for him. Right now they're almost a second, well, Jamie is right now almost a second of Doran. Of course they're battling for P8 right now, but it's going to be for the lead of the race when everybody stops.
Right now they have 17 seconds from KW, I mean Doran. If they start to fight...
Oh, sorry, Hulkenberger trying a move on Tactics. He seemed pretty far, but of course he wasn't. And now the Red Bull driver has to defend into the chicane, but he can't. So Hulkenberger finally goes past Tactics.
KW went in the grass at the exit, so he lost a lot of time.
Goes wide at the final corner as well. And also behind Nick, trying a move on Tony. Tony just received a 3-second time penalty, by the way. And Nick, with medium tires, is now up into P4. He's really fast right now, the Mercedes driver, sorry. And now he's just behind the McLaren driver of Meg, who now has to try to go past the KW, because Hulkenberger can now try and maybe put a little bit of a gap between him and Meg.
That's really make me wonder if Nick put on soft tires at the start, what his race could be. I mean, he's really fast with medium. Probably that's gonna ruin his race at the end. I mean, not really ruin, but he could really put a lot more in there.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe he's, as you said before, there are drivers who tend to wear their tires out a little bit too much, and maybe he's that sort of driver. I mean, maybe he takes a bit too much out of the tires' lives. I don't know. I mean, he's surely going to put super softs at the end, but the other drivers are basically going to undercut him by 4, 5, or maybe even 6 laps. So it's going to be very difficult for him.
I will probably think that everyone will box in the same lap.
Do you think so?
Nick, Meg, yeah, because you will lose too much time if you stop after them.
Oh, that's true. I mean, maybe Nick didn't put the soft tires on because he knows he wasn't going to go till, I don't know, lap 15, 16 or 17 to put super soft tires on.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
I was saying that M. Doran and Jamie, if they start to fight, they could fall behind Hülkenberg and KAW. Of course, if the first didn't fight, but now they lost too much time, and look at that, they are 15 seconds away from the race lead, and I mean around there you lose about 22 seconds, 23 for a pit stop.
Yeah, I mean
That's
they were 19 seconds when they came out of the pits, and now they are 14, so they're really going really fast. And somebody who's going really fast is Nick, who is now trying to line up a move on Meg, the championship
Probably
leader.
the soft are starting to lose time, lose performance.
Yeah, that's probably
and
true.
I mean, medium has something left. Oh, I saw someone on the grass.
And
Nick.
Oh, Nick probably touched with Meg coming out of Maggots, Beckett's and Chapo, and now his race is ruined.
I saw the Red Bull, which was KW, to the grass, and of course he started to.
And now KW in the pits, everybody in the pits apart from Hülkenberg, who stays out, and it's going to be very hard for Hülkenberg to keep those places, and that's a shame for Nick. He was doing such a good job on his mediums.
Yeah, that's really a pity because everyone was slowed down because of KW on the grass.
Yeah.
But at the end, Nick he went too much near the car in front, and then he had to spun. That's really a pity because right now it was going really fast.
Yeah, and all 3 drivers who have gone into the pits, Tactics, Meg and Tony, are on super soft tires and are behind Jos, who, if you remember, broke his front wing at the start of the race. He's now on soft tires in P number 8. Of course, the whole Tactics, Meg and Tony group, they all lost a lot of time battling, and Jos managed to get in front of them after the pit stops.
Right now he's in provisional third place.
He is. I mean, there's also Humblestone, who I think he spun at the start of the race, so I think it still has to stop.
Yeah, but he didn't stop.
Yeah, I don't think he did, and so he's probably out of it. And
just let me check.
Jos.
No, he did. Humblestone
he did.
Stopped.
Did he?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Oh.
The only one without a stop are Nick, Scott Fielder, Craig and Hülkenberg. That's right now stopping. So Humblestone and Jos did a really good undercut. As I said, undercut is really strong around there.
Yeah, but now Jos has to defend, whereas Hülkenberg and Craig both go into the pits. Going to keep an eye on that, but Jos seems actually quite fast. Of course, he has the DRS of Humblestone, and let's see. I mean, right now Jos will be the one challenging Hülkenberg at the exit of the pit lane. Let's see if the Renault driver on super soft tires is going to come out ahead or behind Jos. Jos is going around the final corner right now. Hülkenberg is exiting the pit lane now. They are very close. Hülkenberg is... Oh, he goes on the grass. He's up the inside of Jos and manages to keep the place. And now probably...
Look at that because...
Tactics trying... Yeah, Jos now under attack from Tactics. Tactics trying something round the outside. Beautiful helicopter cam to watch this battle, and Tactics just seems to have better traction, but Jos really competitive on the straights, and they touched very wide Jos in the entry of the corner, and he keeps
Look at
P6.
KW, man.
Yeah, KW, wow. Trying very hard to get the place back, and he seems to be able to do so thanks to his super soft tires. Now down the side of Cops, and he manages to keep the place, even though he takes 3 seconds of time penalty for corner cutting. Probably he probably did cut the old turn one, in order to overtake Jos, but Jos gets a 3 seconds time penalty as well. So it's going
the
to be
only way for Jos to reach the end of the race, fighting for the third place, was probably to stay behind Hamilton with the slipstream. But right now, as you can see, without the slipstream, is losing so much time.
Yeah, and now Jos is losing lots of time because Meg tried something down the inside at the penultimate corner, and now they're going to go up into P6 and P7. And yeah, now Doran still 1.5 seconds ahead of Jamie. For P3, everything is play.
Jamie can't really come close to Doran. He never catch the DRS1.
Yeah, now. Now the fight is for P3 with Hulkenberger very close to Humblestone. Tries something around the outside of turn number 6. I think that was a very optimistic move into Brooklands and Luffield and Woodcote. He's not going to be able to overtake him, to overtake the Williams driver. I mean, it's going to be very, very hard. Now,
and
maybe
that could be a true free for second place and third place for Renault.
Yeah, and that would be crucial for the championship, as McLaren isn't scoring a lot of points with Meg down into P number 8 at the moment. Let's see if Hulkenberger is able to overtake.
He's definitely close.
Yeah, he's very close to Humblestone now towards the Hangar Straight and Stowe, turn number 15. Let's see if the Renault can line up a move down the inside. He brakes very late, but the Williams aggressively covers the inside. He knows this is a very tight battle for the third place. Maybe Hulkenberger trying something down into Vale, but very optimistic move there as well. I just want to answer Relex97's question in the chat, who asks how was the pole position time. Well, it was
42.3.
Yeah, 42.3.
It was under full wet conditions.
And it was full wet conditions, so not really comparable to dry pace. As now, who has a lot of pace is Hulkenberger, who once again is trying to line up a move on Humblestone. Let's see if he can do something down the inside here. He pulls to the inside, but the Williams driver once again brakes very late. And yeah, Hulkenberger doesn't really look comfortable under braking. I mean, he's hesitating a little bit too much. And now behind, Meg has overtaken Jos for P number 7. And now he's going to hand down Tony, Tactics, Hulkenberger and Humblestone to fight for P3 as well. These are going to be 8 laps of pure battle for the third place.
Hulkenberger has to use that traction as better as he can, because he can make near Humblestone in the straight line, because he doesn't have a lot of downforce.
Yeah.
Maybe at the exit down near there he can make some moves, but as you can see, he can't really catch him. We have also to consider that the soft tires will probably go down as much as the super soft, because I mean they stop a lot earlier. They will probably go to the end, but I don't know which tires will go to the end better. I mean,
yeah, that's true. I mean, both tires can go off the cliff at any moment towards the final laps of the race. And
it's really now close.
Yeah, he's really close out of turn 4. Let's see if he can finally overtake the Williams driver, number 98 in his Williams. Now following him very closely, pulls to the inside, but no, he can't make the move stick. Really difficult for Hulkenberger to try to overtake Humblestone. Under braking, doesn't look like the Renault driver has the confidence to dive up the inside and take the place of Humblestone.
Really hard to stick behind the Humblestone the cops.
Yeah,
it's
a lot
really
of
hard
dirty
to
air.
beat this.
Yes, he's going to be washed off dirty air. Now let's see if he can follow him closely and at least get a chance of overtaking him towards Stowe and in the Hangar Straight. Let's see. No, he's quite far behind. Yeah, he's quite far behind right now. I don't think it's going to line up.
The only chance for him is in the sector 1, probably in turn 3.
Yep. That could be some. That could be a good
traction.
Yeah, that could be a good spot, and also with the first DRS zone down to Brooklands into turn 6. to start a second sector. That could be
Tony and
also
Tony Span.
Yeah, Tony Span, unfortunately for him. The Haas driver went wide, I think, into turn 16. Maybe collided with Meg, I'm not too sure. I mean, they were very close to one another. And now Meg takes 3 seconds of time penalty. That's his second time penalty, so I think he has 6 seconds now. And let's see if Hulkenberger can finally go past Humblestone, because he's running out of time. I mean, he still has 6 laps, but his super soft tires won't be as won't have the same performance in 6 laps time. And no, he's still too far behind. Doesn't even try and overtake the Williams
That's the
driver.
same problem as Jamie, because the soft will not last like the medium. But
Yeah.
right now, Doran is handling the race really well
Yeah.
in the front.
Yeah, good pace on mediums, and of course they have a 15 seconds gap to P number 3. So I think even though Jamie will probably fall off the cliff with his soft tires, I think it's going to keep his P2 anyways. Of course, more than almost 15 seconds. Yeah, I mean, Hulkenberger is also risking a lot to try and stay that close to Humblestone in
you
Maggots
could
and
see
Beckett's.
that. You could see that because he did the cops perfectly, but
Yeah.
At the end of the Maggots, he lost the car.
Yeah,
He didn't
almost
really lose too much time, by the way.
Yeah, and right now behind him, KW Tactics and Meg are, well, of course Meg is trying to make a move, stick on KW. Of course Meg has to try and gain as many points as he can, because of course his rival Doran will probably, if things stay like this, he's going to take the whole 12 points that this British Grand Prix offer, and Meg is going to lose lots of points and possibly the championship lead. So it's very crucial for him to overtake KW and maybe catch up to Hulkenberger and Humblestone.
Let me just check when did Humblestone stop?
Yeah, because he stopped pretty early. I think his soft tires are starting to scream right now.
Lap 8. It's lap 8.
Well, lap 8.
Not really that earlier.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think it's well. He can go. He can go to the distance. I mean, I think he can go to the end, of course.
Yeah, I mean, he just did a 2 laps undercut.
Yeah,
from the guys in front.
Yeah, I mean the whole soft guys. So Hulkenberger, Tactics, and Meg all stopped on lap 15, I think. So they made 15 laps.
16.
Yeah, they made 15 laps on soft. So I think that 16 at the end of the race of Humblestone shouldn't be a problem. And right now Hulkenberger really losing a lot of time, more than a full second. Right now behind Humblestone.
Hulkenberger did a lap more than the other.
Yeah, that's true. And well, he should have fresher tires, but he's actually losing a little bit of time to Humblestone. And right now Meg is trying to do something with Tactics for P number 5. I mean, Meg is still doing a great recovery after his, well, I don't want to say horrendous because I think it's a bit harsh on him, and now he's maybe trying something up into down into turn 3. I mean, he was starting P10, now he's in P6, fighting for P5, possibly P4 if he can catch Hulkenberger, but remember that he has 6 seconds of time penalties. So
also, KW has lots of time, lots of penalties.
I mean, that's true. Now the McLaren driver down the inside.
They both have 6 seconds.
Yeah, they both have 6 seconds, and Meg manages to make the move stick. A great move up the inside of turn number 6. And so Meg is now up into P5 with this McLaren and trying to hand down Hulkenberger.
Look how much time did Hulkenberger lose.
Yeah. I mean, Hulkenberger right now, 2.2 seconds ahead of Meg and 1.5 behind Humblestone. So
I don't think Meg can really pass Hulkenberger because the tire wear behind the car is a lot, but I don't really think he can reach him. Also because Hulkenberger pit a lap after the others.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, the super soft tires are starting to probably lose a bit of performance right now, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
They are starting to wear out a little bit, and of course also Humblestone's softs are going to be quite not in a great shape, but of course soft tires can, well, they wear out a bit slower than super soft, so maybe he's in a better place right now.
Yeah, out of nowhere, Humblestone is doing a really good race.
Yeah, I mean,
We didn't see him.
he was out of nothing because he spun, I think, into Stowe, battling with Tactics, I think it was, and he went into the pits, and I mean, he stopped on lap 8, whereas all these guys stopped on lap 15, and they were fighting and fighting and fighting. So he made like a great undercut, and he finds himself out of nowhere into P3, and looks like he's going to keep it if things stays like this.
Definitely, and also Jamie probably is not pushing anymore. He can really make pass Andorra, and now is just handling the second place.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Jamie right now 2.2 seconds behind M. Doran. We haven't really seen anything of those two up into first place. M. Doran with this Sauber now on board with him. He's starting the third to last lap. With his Sauber, really great race for him. From start to finish, he was in P1. Jamie, no, well, not from start to finish because of the super soft tires at the start, so he had to stop early. But I mean, his race win, apart from a couple of laps where Jamie was a bit closer to him, maybe he was like a second second behind him. His race win wasn't really under threat though, because Jamie didn't really never look like a.
They have the same pace, but even with the soft tires, Jamie couldn't make past him.
Yeah, Jamie was a bit far behind. He really didn't look like he had the pace to overtake M. Doran. I think M. Doran really looks like the fastest guy around here today, especially in the dry. I mean, in the wet it was very, very close with Tactics and all the other guys in the top 10. I mean,
who is gaining is Ambroston. He's still gaining on the top two drivers.
Yeah, I mean, Humblestone right now has to push as hard as he can to try and go away from the Renault driver, Hulkenberger, who now gets 3 seconds of time penalty for going wide into cops.
Has 2 warnings, so you just have to handle that.
Yeah, he just has to handle the pressure to finish on the podium. I mean, Humblestone with his Williams is right now into P6 in the championship, 12 points, and he was quite consistent in both Mexico and Italy, whereas he finished P10 in Brazil. And last race in Italy, of course, he managed to finish into P5, so that was his best result of the season, and right now he's beating that pretty comfortably with this P3 at the British Grand Prix. We are into the penultimate lap of the race. Behind there's a good battle between Craig and Scopefielder. They're really fighting the Haas driver Craig just ahead of the Force India driver. Let's see if right now Scopefielder can do something up into turn 3. I mean, up ahead things stabilized a little bit, so I think we can concentrate behind for a couple of laps.
Definitely.
Yeah, with Scopefielder now is going to try something into turn 4, and as well Nick, the poor Nick, down into P10. He was doing such a good job with mediums and then spun at the start of the Hangar Straight. He's now aligning a move on the Lange and overtook him up into P9 for him. Where Scopefielder now tries something round the outside of Craig. Let's see if he can. Wow. Yeah, that's a great move for the Force India driver. If he can make this stick, and he can overtake of the race.
He was so late on the brakes in the outside.
Wow, and now Craig isn't really happy about that. Now Craig isn't really happy about that. Oh, Humblestone, 3 seconds of time penalty, so he has to stay very, very concentrated right now because Hulkenberg is
and look who's coming behind for the last lap.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very close, and up ahead as well. If I'm not mistaken, Hulkenberg is, I mean, just 8 tenths behind Humblestone, so maybe he can try something. Let's go up there because they're fighting for the final step of the podium. Humblestone really now, I think, in a bit of a crisis with his tires, and Hulkenberger a lot closer than the last couple of laps. Maybe left a little bit later than what he wanted.
He's losing a lot.
Yeah, he's losing a lot of time.
Is losing really a lot.
And Hulkenberg is pushing very hard to try and get this P3, but I don't think he's going to be able to overtake him. I mean, he had so many difficulties on the braking in the latter stages of the race. So, and he's also half a second behind. He's not close enough right now. Let's see if he can make something work towards Stowe in turn 15.
He went a little longer. He couldn't take the apex.
Yeah, I mean, he's really struggling right now in this final lap of the race. And unfortunately, this race is coming to an end right now with M. Doran now starting the final sector of the race. What a race it has been for him. Dominated, pole position, probably race win if he doesn't make any mistakes in the last couple of corners. Yeah, Hulkenberger seems a bit too much far behind. So we're going on board with them Doran right now because the Sauber driver is going to come around the final corner, the club section, to win, deservedly so, the British Grand Prix, just ahead of Jamie, who finishes in P2 with his Renault, and then Humblestone manages to keep his P3, and the Williams driver will take his first podium finish of the season. And Tony retires in the final lap, unfortunately for him. Hulkenberger finishes in P4. Good race for him as well. Shame he couldn't get the podium.
Let's see the penalties,
Yeah.
because people will probably fall behind.
Yeah, and in fact, Meg, who had a penalty less of KW Tactics, manages to gain 3 seconds on him and finishes in P number 5. Tactics in P number 6. Craig into P7. He managed to stay ahead of Scopefielder. A very good job by the Haas driver, who manages to finish in P7, just ahead of the Force India. And then also we have Nick and Delange finishing the top 10. So we're looking right about now, if our game cooperates. There you go. We are seeing the podium with the Sauber driver of M. Doran winning the race and getting his deserved trophy for the British Grand Prix. And if I'm not mistaken, he's going to take not only the trophy home, but also the championship lead, because he was just 4 points behind Meg. He gets 12 points, yeah. And Meg is going to get, I think, 6. So 6 points of difference. So and Duran will probably go in first place by only 2 points. Of course, we also have post-race decisions by the stewards. Maybe the findings will change the classification, which looks like this. M. Duran takes the win here in Great Britain, ahead of Jamie in P2, Humblestone in P3, Hulkenberger in P4, Meg into P5, the former championship leader, then KW Tactics in P6, Craig into P7, Scopefielder in P8, Delange in P9, and Nick finishes in P number 10 in the final points finish position.
Yeah, it's really good race. We saw different tactics, different strategies. We could really see how much this guy.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very close race. What do you think about it?
The third position was really for anyone. Anyone could take it.
That's true.
And also Jos, unlucky for him. Nick, also unlucky for him for his medium tire race. Better before the race. If they prepare themselves a little bit better, they can really.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it was a very close race at the end for the podium, but of course, nothing that for example, Hulkenberger could have done to prevent Humblestone getting the P3. Now we are waiting to invite the guys into the final post-race interviews, of course, with the top 3, if we're able to do so. When? I didn't really.
Danny, which was
Andoran, probably. Andoran, I think. Yeah. Yeah, who won the race with Jamie? Yeah.
Amundsen really paid off
Yeah,
for
he
the
really paid off the
podium.
undercut. Yeah, I mean that's really true. Now we're waiting for, I think, just Jamie and Humblestone, because I don't seem to see M. Doran right now. Let's see if right now, of course, waiting for Jamie. Okay. Okay, so hello Jamie, welcome to the first post-race interviews of the on the season. Now let's wait for the other two guys, but in the meantime I think we can start with you. Good evening Jamie, by the way. Well, it has been. I think it's a good race for you. I mean, P2 in the end, a very good race, and I think you have to be proud of that. Do you think? Well, are you happy about it, or would you have preferred to have a bit more pace to try and overtake M. Doran at the final, in the latter stages of the race? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you were very consistent as well. I think you didn't make any mistakes, or at least not that big of a mistake if you did. A good race. I mean, you were right now into P5 in the championship. Of course, you're probably moving up places. Of course, you're overtaking Tony and Nick L.J. Thompson, so you're probably going to be into P3 right now in the driver standings. What are your objectives for the rest of the season? Of course, we are still into the first part of it. Yeah, I mean that's really true, and yeah, I think, well, of course, in a league, in any league, and in any race in Formula One 2017 as well, staying out of trouble isn't really an easy task to do. So that will be quite a challenge. But I mean, as you showed today, you're a very capable driver, and I congratulate you for a great race, finishing into P2.
Yeah, my party audio settings weren't set properly for the stream, but
Oh, never
there we
mind.
go. No worries, no worries, no worries. They can hear me
Okay.
now, but it's alright. I'm around.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah,
Yeah.
happy overall. So.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, also
P2.
the constructor championship right now is gonna step up. Also because Hulkenberger did a really good race.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
you're gaining
I mean,
a lot of points in this race.
yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, I don't feel I can obviously be on a podium at every race. Something no driver can, but I think something. Me and Hulkenberger are teammates in the previous league, so we work pretty well together. So yeah, we're definitely within a chance of winning it, and I think we're doing a good job so far. So I mean, obviously, good job to him finishing fourth. So he's yeah, good race for him.
Yeah, I mean, Renault right now will be on the top step of the constructors championship, and as far as I can see, nobody else is going to join this party. So I think it's unfortunately the end of the race today and the end of the live stream. I would like to thank everybody who has participated in the race. Of course, Jamie being here, thank you very much for your words
No
in the
worries.
post-race interviews. I would like to thank, of course, Chris for commentating with me. It's been a pleasure for me.
You're welcome.
And hopefully we'll see you later in this season as well. And I would like to thank also everybody that has followed the live stream, and everybody who will see this race post live stream. And thank you very much. And I think that we are going to see us next week for the Chinese Grand Prix. So see you in China.